Yeah, yeah, ay. I'm part of the next generation. Yeah, ay. We the next generation. Told my family that we gotta be patient. We are on when you flipping your station. We the next generation. We the next generation. Told my family that we gotta be patient. We are on when you flipping your station. We the next generation. Put all them zips in the masons. I represent for my nation. Free Kodak cause he a true Haitian. This empress wanna have relations. We going there on vacation. I'm trying to get education. Too easy, I give dedication. She nice, but she very impatient. Wrong structure, get back to the basics. With this art, I can make a creation. Man, this kush got her up in the matrix. You know we the new generation. She smoking kush in the tropics. My people are always the topic. Everything that you see electronic. And these empresses look so exotic. Orisha's all up in my noggin. Tryna run her they cash like I'm jogging. And the Tesla, it move like it's Sonic. AMP, she smoking on chronic. The kush gave her super bionics. The kush gave her super bionics, yeah. Ay. We the next generation.
Hey, peace to the family. Listen, we're going to have some technical difficulties this morning. We're going to have some technical difficulties this morning. Not sure what's going on here. I'm not sure. Good morning to the family. Peace and everybody. Y'all know this is the Ka Ba Nebti Ankht. You know, doing the thing. This is just that continuation thing where we were talking about that call for that self-hate, you know, that call for self-hate. And me and one of my wonderful sisters. Yeah. I mean, as always, throwing it down. She like holds no bars. That's what we call her, holds no bars, right? Yeah. And although, you know what I'm saying, we from different locales in this southern area, you know what I'm saying, we still have all of these things that work in the favor for our understanding of the natural world, you know, around us. Yeah. And all of these ideological caves that they put us in, because that's what it is. Like, you better get over here in this cave, you better accept this ideology, there's nothing else for you. If you don't do it, we're going to crusade on your ass, you know? Thing we were talking about, and it was a term that had been being used recently where people were taking offense to it, you feel me? And I hate that. I really hate that, because we use terms all the time. Like, I hear people use the term Negro, you know, to identify black, but if you say mulatto, people get upset and say, oh, it's a basic term because you're actually calling me a mutt because it's M-U-T. But I mean, come on, terminologies, all kind of terminologies have changed over time. Terms have changed. There's so many different terms I could say right now, so let's not get caught up into that. You want me to say biracial, okay, there's new words. So new words gonna keep coming. So the old words, what we use to make the new words, and then what, you just keep using words. Come on. Right? I don't know, I don't have a problem with the fact that we have this component within, you know, our communities, because it's a part of our community. I heard my brother Danny say from NBK, you know, he said that, you know, the largest number of runaways, you know, really were the mulattoes. So it's okay for you to say you in that term. I can use mulatto, but it's not okay for me to use the term if I'm just saying this is who these people are. You want me to say biracial? This shit makes no sense to me. You know? But go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Spade is a spade. What you were saying before we got on the call? You know, you were running it. Go ahead.
No, just a spade is a spade. I mean, I call it like I said. It is what it is. You are who you are. Why are you upset about that? And what's so crazy is this. I have a co-worker, / kind of a client, and she is a mulatto, and she referred to herself as the mulatto. She did. When we got on, you know, issues about that, she straight up said, I'm a mulatto. She was saying that her mom's white and her dad's black. You see what I'm saying? She referred to herself as that. So, I mean, you know, with it being, I guess, offensive to some mulatto. I mean, why is it offensive? Why? I mean, if that's who you are, why is being who you are so offensive? Is it a problem with who you are? Is it because you're embarrassed because of the history that y'all have, the shit that y'all used to do, the weak ass shit y'all used to do, and the weak ass shit that y'all do now? Is it because of the mindset that y'all all have had? Is it because of that? Is that the problem? I mean, what's so bad about me calling you who you are?
It's the whole thing about how a person wants to be titled. You know, how a person feels to believe they should be. You know, who are they regarded as? Who am I? You know, it has more to do with that because, you know, at the end of the day, who defines who's what? I mean, these terms that we use to label people, right? Who's giving them to us? The history, check this out, the history of the people in which we term as the mulattoes, you have been in a caste system that has been beneficial in one sense and just to the cut core what it is on the other. Because that mulatto was a runaway. She was in the house being raped constantly by the slave master. She actually had slaves herself. Watch a movie called A House Divided, where this mulatto, raised as if she was white, her mother was a slave, she never knew it, didn't want it, and when she found out that her mother was actually her slave and had not died in France years before because her white father and grandmother, you know, wanted to, you know, they said, this child looks just like white, she was Papa Blanc, you know, what she was. She was a you know, this mixed biracial child that took on a lot of the physical traits and, you know, things of her father, and but her complexion would be that of one where you could see, you know, there would be an admixture there. But she was thinking her mother was a white woman, or European, whatever you want to call her, when the truth of the matter was her mother was a slave that was raped when she was 11, 12 years old, brought to the plantation, and told to never say nothing. As a matter of fact, she tried to kill the baby when she was 12 and said, that ain't my baby, because he raped her, a grown-ass man on gin, raped the little girl. And then wanted to change it and turn it around because he loved the child and made her put her over all the slaves, and she was able to articulate well and had her over his accounting and, you know, this whole Sally Hemings type situation. But the child was just 11, 12 years old, mind you. That mulatto was her child. Right. And when that mulatto found out that that was her mother, she said, you know what she said? She said, that nigga ain't my mammy. It's not my mammy. So what? How could a slave be my mother? That's what she said. Wow. You know, not even understanding that the world that she was brought into didn't give two fucks about her. She had learned that on her journey of trying to marry a white man. The man that she thought she was getting ready to marry and came in, the brother said, don't you know her mother's that slave girl over there that's running that plantation? Don't you know that that's a Negro? She is not white. And he went there one night and she was happy and think they're about to take off their clothes and, I guess get together and have their little, their little reconciliation fest or race fest or whatever you want to call it. There was no race. It was good on her part. She felt like she was a white woman.
She thought she was better get the
her ass. He beat her ass in there. He said, you know what? You a nigga. He started choking her and she was like, oh. So she was assaulted. You know, but by this time her father had died, and she was being left with all of the property because the grandmother was old, and the grandmother condoned it. She fucking knew he was in there raping that little girl when she was 12, that slave little girl that was just brought on the plantation, and she didn't do a fucking thing about it, except for come up in front of the door with her cane and say, when he in there raping the little girl. The shit was really sad, and it's a true story. America Amanda Dixon. Look it up. Woman of color, daughter of privilege. All right, and that's the name of the book, and it's by it's Amanda America Dixon's 1849 to 1893, and it's by Kent Anderson Leslie, woman of color, daughter of privilege. Pull that up, the true story, and that movie, A House Divided, made off of that story. I think it's more so that they want, it's an understanding that there is another ancestry that is a part of their ancestry, an admixture there. And it was a lot, all of it came through by force, by rape. But then some of it, as you look into the New Orleans area, and you begin to understand that, they had the quadroon balls, and these women were in brothels pretty much. Prostitution, it's a real red light district, New Orleans. Yep. When you look at the history there, of the Mulatto and her place, her prospective place in the French Quarter of Rue Carré, French slave quarter. So she had slaves. She had slaves in her French Quarter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they lived in the slave quarters, and they were her slaves. And she was a Mulatto, octoroon, quadroon, a possum block. She was this child of this mixed heritage due to race. And she had a system there that she was working under. As long as she was providing these quote-unquote services for these white men, Englishmen, Frenchmen, Dutchmen, Portuguese men, she was given things, specific things she could have. She was allowed a different life than that of the slave on the plantation out in the rural areas. And even not as far as the rural areas, right there in that area. She had a slave. She had a slave, a black slave in her house. Mm-hmm. The woman that looked like her mother was a slave. And that slave had children for the same Dutchman or Englishman she had and had kids for. And she would mistreat them. I want people to check out the movie A Feast of All Saints. Check that one out.
Yes.
You got this movie, sis. You already know what it's about, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's how they got done. And then, you know what? It's not that. It's just the effect of the mentality that, that they have. Or that they had back then. But a lot of them still have that mentality now, sis.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, some do, and it has a lot to do with the system that we run of the dominion over what's perceived as beautiful and what's not, or who's this and who's not, and if you're mixed, you're right. If you're light, you're right. Right. If you're brown, you better get on down. You're a slave. You're cast out. You're an infidel. Or, whatever. You're nothing because you don't look this way. It was the complexion for the protection, of a system. But you didn't really get the protection because, again, that mulatto was a runaway. Ran away more than some of the daughters of the youth.
Yep.
And that mulatto would be your slave master as well as the slave herself or his son. And we hear those stories through lots of the readings of a lot of the mixed slaves that came out of antebellum South in different areas, all in the north, everywhere, that wrote about these stories. They wrote about them. They told us, that their fathers were this and that, and they were ex-slaves, and we have the account. So I don't think it's the point about us counting them out. There should be, there's no restitution for neither that mulatto nor that quote-unquote Negro, so to say. And that you can't say that 50% of something is 100% of that something. You can't say it. So that means you pay homage to what it is, that there is a portion. And then you got to think about all of the multiculturalism, because that is another component. People are like, I'm Greek, I'm French, I'm this, I'm that. I'm Indian, I'm goddamn man. I'm Amazonian. I'm Chinese. I'm from the Philippines. I'm fucking German. Excuse my English. I'm just saying, sis, Everybody got a. I'm from Switzerland. I'm from Polish. I'm Poland. I'm Poland. In a world where people want to be a little bit of everything and try to use that as a justification for their goddamn actions today, I mean, we up against, the rolling ball. The rolling ball. They just keep getting out of the way. Ping pong, we got to keep getting out of the way because we're up against the rolling ball. So, there should be no disrespect with the terms such as mulatto is used because biracial is the same thing. That mulatto is biracial. And, it should just be seen that way. I mean, what can we do to change anything that has happened already in the past? We review these things to understand, why we are where we are today in the present. And then try to understand what the future of it will be, if anything. Because what we have today is a mixture of a lot. But like I said before, Sister Roddy, we need to repeat. I need to say this again. There's 3 places for the black man in America. And that is, they want him dead, in jail, or homosexual. And in all 3 instances, he is removed from the family unit with the black woman and the child. He's removed from there.
Or they want him with the white woman.
Right, of course. In either way, he's out of the household. However, he got the most kids, and those kids are all black. And guess what? So that's letting you know right there that there must be some type of comeback. But what's the problem? I'm trying to understand what the problem is, because the most kids, the majority of the children that a black woman has are black. And so then they go, well, who qualifies as black? Well, we can't qualify a mixed biracial person as black. We can say that's a mixture. You know what I'm saying? There's a mixture of the two. So let's just deal with that. It's a tarnished history behind a lot of those stories, and a lot of people just don't want to deal with it. I had a friend that said she didn't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? She was like, Ka Ba, I love you. I love all this history, and sometimes it's just so hard. I understand her standpoint because not only is she from different areas in Cuba, but the Spaniards and those women over there is just our ancestors on top. She knows what the business is. Even though I'm in the Caribbean. That DNA ain't in the Caribbean. Right. Let's get that shit together. Stop. They have some shit that's going on. Yeah, they got some shit you got down in the Caribbean. I know. Right. You got some mixture things going on in there, but at the end of the day, and it came down to that natural world and being in tune with it and know what it is, you lose me every time. I can't even be dancing next to, if I'm dancing next to her, we having a great time, she will throw me off because she's so out of tune. But I don't let her. I just, direct my attention to what it is I'm in harmonious with. Nature! That's scary as fuck. It is fun. Hey, it's the wind down, it's the kickback, That's petty as fuck, but I approve of it. With my girl, no holds barred. I mean, that's just how it goes, I ain't trying to be that way. Now, see, I don't even use that term. Some damn petty. Now, good way. It's just historically accurate, scientifically accurate. I can see it. I got to measure a thing. I mean, in geometry, they teach us to measure a thing. And all these different places, things that we take to enrich our specific skills. We're dealing with these numbers. We're dealing with the way things happen. We're dealing with sound. Like, our people are deaf, dumb, and blind. Me and my brothers was just talking about that the other day. I said that our people are blind because of the fact that they can see a picture that's photoshopped and what they gravitate towards it and say, well, damn, this shit is real. They don't even know to authenticate it. And then why we're deaf is because we can't even hear the sound anymore. See? We can't hear the sound.
Yep.
I've heard people call into people's shows and they're pretending to be black, and I'm listening to the speech. I said, this nigga is Italian. What are you talking about? This is Spanish. Hold on. Okay, there's a sister named Jade who speaks, she's from in the UK, and she sounds like, the people speaking English in England, London, and things. But she was born there. Her DNA doesn't say she's there. So her speech is going to be no different than a goddamn black person speech in English in America. What the problem is? Stop, y'all. Stop the shit. There's things we can hear about who we are. We have to pay attention. We have to be attentive, though. I mean, like, something you gonna do. What are you saying?
How does she? Did she talk like this? Did she talk like?
Yes.
Did she talk like that? Did she talk like this?
Yeah, something like that. There's a way. The vowel syllabary, the syllabary. The way that the syllables are broke up.
Yeah.
They break them up into different areas in different places, just like, say, the African would say African. And you would think, you're saying African over here, but you would hear that African. There's more syllables that's used to pronunciate a word in that African, person of African descent, in Africa on the motherland than there would be over here because, remember, our speech and things like that were constructed to try so that to their understanding. That's why they were talking black coding and branding us and shit, and cutting our tongues out and stuff so we could stop speaking because they couldn't understand, right? So they had to create things so that they can understand. That's why people hear different sounds from people in New Orleans. They'd be like, well, people in New Orleans sound a certain way. You'll have people in New Orleans on the outskirts of New Orleans that don't sound anything like the people in New Orleans because remember we had to use a lot of French and Spanish terms. Everything's named after the French and Spanish. All these different people. So in pronunciating their names and getting the sounds out, we have to change our manner in the way we articulate these vowels out. And so it just gave us a whole different side of things when it comes down to the speech because a person that lives down, just say, I was talking to my brother Michael one day, and he was saying down in La Platte, they kind of deep the accent as far as the southern, and they'll sound like they're from like deep parts of Mississippi, but yet they're in the lower parts of Louisiana, and they don't even sound like a person from New Orleans. Now, I know every person from New Orleans doesn't sound like me because it's the way that I kind of break up the syllables and follow the alphabet and in school, and this is how it's supposed to be pronunciated and things like that. Everybody don't pronunciate their words the same, and then there's levels to it because you'll hear slurred speech in a lot of people in New Orleans because specific syllables were not taught in detail in school, so you wouldn't be pronunciating them or articulating them in their entirety. There's long vowels and short vowels. There's so many different ways we use vowel sounds here to speak words, so I would be able to pronunciate a word different than, say, someone who probably didn't go to any schools or anything that's from New Orleans. They kind of pick up on the regular jargon of the city. And we use a lot of French terms without even knowing unconsciously. Like we say the roux carré, or we might say café du monde. We talking about the beignets, the ones you ready to get, the beignets. So we might pronunciate these words, and we might say, girl, they got beaucoup over there, talking to speak as lots for a lot of something. We say, girl, he got beaucoup crawfish. Hey, it's going down, things like that. We're using a lot of terms that are French and don't even know it because of the fact that it's something that has been embedded in our speech here. The terms, we constantly calling our those colonial races as enslavers named every day, all day, because every building's named after them, every street, every bus, every school. I'm just saying. I'm saying every, but it's not every. They go have the Martin Luther Kings and these streets and that within your more impoverished neighborhoods that are more populated by blacks, the black community, or the black populace. However, for the most part, you're talking about the Bienvilles and the Canals, the Ivories, the Galvez family. So we have to pronunciate these terms that are French and Spanish, and then even in the city of New Orleans in itself, there's a split in the middle. There's a split in the middle where half of the whole area, this whole southern side, east side of the city, will be named after a lot of Frenchmen because the French kind of like dwelled in those parts, and they had their possum bunks that lived in these urban areas, and they had societies, and these people were people of color. Let's remember, but nothing for them the color. The only thing of color that was in there was the slaves and some of the women's DNA. Because everything else had everything to do with English, Frenchman, Dutchman, who was there to exploit the free labors of the people. And to so is royal oath, because the red light district meant you can drink all day and all night, and you can have prostitutes, and they're not allowed to come downstairs. I got a whole history I'm going to be dropping on that. But look, family, this show about to end. The segment of this show with me and my sister LaToya. Say, sis, if you want, holds no bars. If you want to drop something right quick, sis, before it ends, go ahead and to the people, because, I'll share this little broadcast just because it was a nice deal, sis. Mm-hmm.
Oh, not too much, sis. You know how I am. You know, I get in where I fit in, but peace and love, fam. Everybody.
All right. That's what's up. All right, peace and love, family. Just thank you for tuning in when you do to this Ka Ba Nebti's Corner. You know, continuation of that whole self-hate thing. I mean, we're going to keep that going out because we want our people to identify with some of the things that inflict our communities and our personal lives, the things that we hate about ourselves. For what reason, I don't understand. It all goes back to people's perceptions of who people are and what they've done and what. So an acute understanding and learning of history, world history, you understand, especially these American histories, you need to know what happened to you here, because the things, the content, like the people like my family, the NBK, put out, you understand, that content is not things you've ever saw in school. You've never been taught these things. So it's important that this information is put out.